Good morning. How are you guys? I'm awake at 6 in the freaking morning. I don't know how. I went to bed kind of late last night, but I am. Also had a really late dinner, so that was interesting. Interesting night, interesting night. So, guys, I pulled two very interesting cards today off the top of my deck, and it is the King of Cups and the Ace of Swords. Okay, after shuffling my deck this morning, I pulled these two cards. Oh boy. So let's talk about the King of Cups. Let's talk about this character. Okay, let's talk a little bit about this card. Not only is the King of Cups a possible water sign, some of you guys may be dealing with a water sign or someone who has water in their chart. Okay, they don't have to just be a water sign, sun sign. Okay, this person that you are dealing with, or this could be you. This could be you needing to hear this. This could be someone needing to hear this. Is someone who shares emotion, but knows how to control it. Okay? Then we have the Ace of Swords here. This is all about emotional clarity and emotional communication. Okay? Some of you may be getting some communication from an individual that has water in their chart or is just embodying this aspect. Okay? This is someone who has a lot of love, either for you or for a situation. This could be you feeling very emotional, but it's not the kind of emotional where you're all over the place. Okay? This is the kind of emotion that is stable and controlled, and it is being communicated in a very clear manner here. It could even mean that you are gaining some clarity on something. Something emotional. Emotions, feeling like you own your emotions. You know them, you understand how they flow through your life. And a lot of times I get King of Cups in reverse in readings. I get King of Cups in reverse. For myself, this sometimes speaks to me. I have a Capricorn moon. So sometimes I'm like this. Sometimes I control my emotions too much. I try way too hard, you know? But it's just funny because the third card that I pulled here was justice, okay? Fairness, equality, some people say karmic, you know, karma, universal justice, whatever, right? But I feel here somebody is gaining the clarity that they need, and it is teaching. Okay, it is teaching balance. It is teaching you balance, or teaching this other person balance. There is something evening out here, and I feel that it's something that should have happened a long time ago with the justice here. Something inside you is evening out. You are gaining the clarity that you need for your emotional state. Some of you, this may even be a new start. This may be a new start for some of you. But when it comes to the King of Cups, I imagine people who flow with their process. They flow. It's such a creative energy as well for some reason for me when I pull the King of Cups. It's all about that creative emotional burst, you know, that when I see an artist or when I myself do art and I get lost in that flow, I always imagine the King of Cups. So I want to say, if some of you are actually having trouble communicating your emotions, it's important to understand that sometimes things have to even out. Sometimes we have to gain clarity about what it is we're feeling in the first place. And it doesn't always reside, yes, it resides outside of you. You can be getting emotional clarity from a situation, from somebody. You could be understanding, learn to understand. But when you go inside yourself and you apply it, what are your emotions telling you? What do your emotions tell? Do you have a cohesive communication with how you feel? Right? It's very important to have that. It's very important to have a good, stable relationship with your emotions. You need to understand them, because I always say this in my readings. This guy is emotionally intelligent. Okay, he understands the power of emotions. He understands what resides within his emotional center. He knows exactly how to control his emotions, and I don't mean suppress. Okay, because we've been taught that. We've been taught, control your emotions, control your emotions. You need to control how you feel. And no, the emotions are there for a reason. They're there to not only help us survive, but to help us with this experience we have here on this fucking planet. And a lot of times people don't have the clarity of understanding their emotions on a level of, they're like a kaleidoscopic thing. They're not just, I'm sad, I'm happy, I'm excited. Those are all, yes, those are base emotions. But the emotional scale is so big. It's so big. I can't even begin to get into how many emotions that you can experience on a daily basis. It's tons. And having the intelligence to understand that you have a wide variety of emotion that switches out throughout the day and even meshes and they mold, okay? A lot of people aren't taught that. We're not taught how to grasp our emotions and have clear communication with every single emotion we feel. Every single emotion we feel. So that's when emotional intelligence steps in. That's when we begin to start, that's funny, still waking up here. That's when we can actually learn to access those emotions, because emotions govern energy. They govern a lot of things, a lot of how we even perceive reality. And there is a lot of energy behind emotions. And that energy can be used for many, many different things. And it can enliven and it can kill. Emotions can rise up entire fucking nations, and it can also topple them. Okay, emotion, connecting with others. Emotion, connecting with others emotionally. More often than not, our reality gets dictated by how we feel. Less how we think, but how we're feeling. How do you feel today? I mean, think about it, right? When I ask you, how do you feel today? Think about it. How do you feel today? Not how do you think today. It's how do you feel today? You don't go up to someone and say, yeah, how do you think today? What's going on? What are your thoughts on today? Generally, people are asking, are you okay? How do you feel today? How are you doing this? That's because there's a reason behind that. The way that we feel about our reality, the way that we feel about our day is going to dictate exactly how the day unfolds. So if I wake up and I'm like, this is a shitty day, I feel shitty, it's raining, it's, all this shit happened last night and I'm going to bring it over into the next day, right? So how you feel is going to automatically dictate how you perceive your reality around you and how you create it. Right? What your perspective is about your reality. So how do you feel today? Do you feel good? Do you feel dreamy? Do you feel like you can take on anything? Do you feel peaceful? Do you feel nothing? Okay? Because and I always tell this, and I've learned this from my teacher, okay? My current mentor. The moon is actually more important in our astrological chart than the sun sign. Now, I'm not saying none of the signs, one isn't more important than the other, but I've learned in my current studies that yes, the moon and how you align with the moon is very potent. It's how you receive. It's how you receive everything. It's how you project. It's crazy. It's crazy. And we all go about on our sun signs here, but the moon sign and how you feel really is going to dictate how you live. How you live every single day, how you manifest, how you grow, how you get abundance into your life. If you wake up feeling a certain way, it's going to affect your entire day. It's going to infect your entire life. It's crazy. It's crazy. But I do feel with this King of Cups here and the Ace of Swords that learning about this, learning about how effective emotions actually are in reality, learning about this, okay? I'm learning this, and that is why it's so good for us to balance out our mind, okay? Being able to balance your mind and get control of your mind and have a balance with emotions and the mind. Because we're often cut off, right? We're often cut off. We picture our emotions and our thoughts as separate entities. We think they're separate, but they're really not. They're really not. They can coexist, but it requires a balance. It requires getting to the source of that little voice. I mean, there's more to it than that. There's some pretty deep spiritual stuff involved here. Things I won't talk about in this, but I feel. I always say that in my tarot readings. I always say, I feel as though this, I feel as though that. And instead of, I think you're going through this, I think you're going through that, it's feeling. Everything I do when I read tarot is about the feeling. I feel it. I feel it emotionally. And I communicate it. With the Ace of Swords. Some of you may be needing to communicate how you feel today. You may be needing to actually talk about your feelings, let them out, in order to balance a specific situation out here. And with the Justice card, this is also about learning specific things in the school of life, so to speak. Also lessons, universal lessons, stuff like that. It can really, it's a big thing. The Justice card, when I pull it, it always changes a reading. It changes the outcome of the reading. It changes what's happening. It puts an overarching theme over everything that's happening. And balance, needing to balance. So some of you may be needing to balance your emotional state today. And with the Mercury retrograde going on right now, a lot of people are being affected emotionally. A lot of people are, the way they communicate their emotions are being affected. They're being affected. So get your balance, guys. Get your balance. Never forget that how we feel when we wake up is going to be how the rest of our perception is colored throughout the rest of the day and throughout our life in general. So if you are, for example, a nihilist, if you are a nihilist, have fun with that one. Have fun with that one every single day, waking up thinking that there is no point to anything. There is no point to the world. There's no point to anything existing. We're just nothing. We're just a big ball of nothing. How does that affect your reality, waking up every day feeling that way? I knew someone who was like that. And obviously there are reasons why they were like that, but they didn't want to address it. They just accepted that that's how life was. And the more that they accepted that, the worse and worse and worse and how uncolored this person's life is. There's no color. There's no joy. There is no joy. It is deadlands. Okay, when a person is like that, it's the deadlands. And some people call me the optimist, the eternal optimist in my life, and it's not optimism. It's understanding. It's understanding the difference and knowing the difference between how I create my reality, how I perceive it, and what I need to learn, right? I love the King of Cups card. I really do. Learning to flow and being able to communicate with yourself and balancing your emotional issues is really what this card is about today. So somebody out there needed to hear the message of how your emotions govern and help dictate your reality. Somebody needed to hear that. Maybe I did. Maybe I needed to hear that as well. I love it. I love it. Don't you guys just love tarot? All right, so I'm going to go do fire signs. If you guys are interested and you want to join my Patreon, feel free, $6 a month. Yes, I'm advertising myself again at the end of this video. I am starting to post daily, like quickie love updates over there, which are really fast videos that are just love updates. I started it yesterday. Just a little thing I'm doing. I'm testing it out. See, if you join my Patreon, you get to see new things that I'm testing out for my channel. You can give me comments. You know, go check out my Patreon. Okay, guys, it's brand new. Extended's up there and new stuff coming. Always, always, always interesting tarot videos. Bye.